a sparrow. As the plane begins its descent, I see myself falling, and it's peaceful. A little speck in the distance, whirligigging. Something hurtling towards Earth. I started to look up her transaction receipts and tried to trace her steps. I'd go to each ATM she withdrew from and finger the keys, trying to touch what she touched. I'd pore over the menus, trying to add it up, tallying what combinations of food and drink might have possibly made the meal. I'd go sit in the clubs I knew she went to and close my eyes, imagining that she would have danced. Trying to feel her residue in the room, forcing myself to believe that as long as my eyes stayed closed, time would become fluid and she would find the room. She liked to dance. We'd been together for 6 years, 4 months and 8 days. I'd been booked for a job in New York. Funny enough, I flew home on the 4th of July watching the fireworks burst across Long Island like bombs. When I came home, the bed was made and all the plants had died. I think there's a difference between giving up and letting go. I think a lot of people forget that. For example, I'm really good at giving up, and I'm shit at letting go. When you love someone dead, you inherit the weight of their heart. It's heavy in the chest. If you don't redistribute that to the world, you go underwater, like drowning. Walking with one hand in my pocket, taking her pulse, I can feel her heartbeat wherever I am. Right in my pocket. It's in my palm. I read Didion in the park, her writings on grief. She says to let go of them in the water. So I cross a barrier I shouldn't and wade into a body that does not want me. She'd never left the country before. She barely left where we lived in London. They were her ends. Maybe she thought she could reset her nervous system by the shock of immersion. I still don't know. She spoke with precision. When she walked, and she walked with purpose. It's hard for me to imagine her here, stumbling her way through interaction, lost in the vastness of Shinjuku Station. At night I would hold on to her collarbone like a handle, and she'd press her nose into my hair. I'd wake up to the expectation of nearness. I don't sleep. It's easier not to. I ride the trains. I do my best to thin my membrane. I carry her diary with me, everywhere. It's not even dated, so it's hard to say what's from what. A little sketch here, a Frank O'Hara quote. And I'll be happy here, and happy there, full of tea and tears. I don't suppose I'll ever get to Italy, but I have the terrible tundra at least. The sky here is vast and grey. I don't speak a word of Japanese. I meet someone at a bar and we converse. In another life or time I could have loved them. I tell them this. They teach me a phrase. Shogunai, they say. Fuck it, nothing can be done. It takes some pressure off my soul, just for a moment. I catch myself looking up a lot. Nobody ever looks up. I catch myself saying the universe, whispering over and over and over under my breath. I find myself pounding this mantra into my head like some lame attempt to soften the meat in my brain when it's all a bit too loud, really. It's quite an internal spectacle. It saves the external one. I'm now a bit loopy from sleep deprivation and the old Tin Man. I buy a banana at the conveni and pretend I'm a cowboy. I'm really thinking about pushing people into traffic while I wait for the lights to change. Have I waited my whole life for some moment where I could just kill without getting caught? Maybe it'd be easier here. I'm numb. This foreign tinny makes me numb. I'm a fucking idiot and I don't care. I don't care, disregard dignity. Suddenly some sobering thoughts come in and try and tell me how lovely it would have been to come here and actually, not be a banana brain. I shoot my sober self in the mirror. I don't want to speak to her right now. This is all just garnish, really, isn't it? And garnish is mostly garbage. Chimp and capoon. Another phrase. I realise I can't hold myself, you know. I let someone else crawl in. Her. I elect to exercise her. It is incredibly difficult not to finger this hole where the tooth has been. Another night. I felt the cancelled life dreaming after me. Dennis Johnson. I buy candles and I find a shrine. I, ashamed and afraid, feel like a trespasser. I place the candles but cannot make this fucking light alight. The sky claps and I run. I run and 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 I run. I run everywhere looking for the trees, for a nowhere, for a quiet loud enough to shout in. I'm terrified.